Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester. We strive to be a congregation of compassion and justice, rooted in many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Your faith, your doubts, believers in God, mystery, nature, or love, queer and trans folks, immigrants and refugees, all of who we are and are becoming are held here as sacred. I'm Stephanie, serving as the worship leader today, along with co-director of music, Joe Mish. Much of this service was shaped by Joe, and we look forward to his reflections. Thanks too to our other co-director of music, Rose Mish, as well as a warm welcome back to our guest musicians, the OK Factor, Olivia and Carla. Thank you for sharing your gifts of music today. Welcome also to newcomers and those online. We're glad that you're joining us. After service, join us down in the Commons for refreshments and conversation with information and sign-ups for events and groups. There's a QR code in your order of service for all upcoming events, and the best way to stay informed is through our weekly e-news. For families with kids, there is a preschool playroom open just past the lobby and activities for kids after the time for all ages. There are also spaces down in the lobby with the service shown on a screen for those who need a more casual space for any reason. Make yourself at home. Each month, our offering goes out our doors to support justice work. And for August, our justice partner is Saturday Noon Meals, providing food for folks in our community experiencing homelessness or food insecurity through Christ United Methodist Church. You can give us the plates pass or anytime online. And a few special announcements today. First one, next Sunday, August 24th, we'll have musical guest Matt Meyer, who has led groups nationally in our faith tradition. He'll provide music for the service, and then he'll lead a free will offering workshop exploring the intersections of drumming, singing, and justice. Join us next week from 11:30 to 1 for this special event that will be good for your soul. And save the date for Sunday, September 7th. We'll begin our fall church calendar with our annual water communion ritual at the History Center of Olmsted County. Bring a bit of water to share from your garden hose or from travels. And for those entering classrooms as the school year begins again, we invite you to bring backpacks or work bags for a blessing. This service will be one large revival-style service at 10 a.m. as a chance to gather as a whole community. We will return to two services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. the following week on September 14th. And finally, today's flowers are provided by John and Sandy McLaughlin in honor of their 60th wedding anniversary. Yeah! John and Sandy have also provided cake to share in their celebration during coffee hour today. Happy anniversary. So now, I invite you to take a breath as we gather for worship with these words from our minister in the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. In a moment, the music will call us back, but before we sing our hymn, which will be found in the gray hymnal, I invite you to rise in body or spirit to greet those around you.
289.
Creative love, our thanks we give, that this our world is incomplete, that struggle greets our will to live, that work awaits our hands and feet, that we are not yet fully wise, that we are in the making still, as friends who share one enterprise and strive to blend with nature's will. Watch though the future long delay, and still with faults we daily cope. It gives us that for which to pray, a field for toil and faith and hope. Since what we choose is what we are, and what we love we yet shall be, the goal may ever shine afar, the will to reach it makes us free.
Our chalice lighting this morning is Spring Giddiness by Rumi. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to the study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love to be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. Don't go back to sleep. I would love to kiss you. The price of kissing is your life. Now, my love is running toward my life shouting, "What a bargain, let's buy it." Daylight, full of small dancing particles, and the one great turning. Our souls are dancing with you. Without feet they dance. Can you see them when I whisper in your ear? All day and night, music, a quiet, bright reed song. If it fades, we fade. With gratitude, our ushers will now receive the offering.
I'd like to invite the children forward to join us right over here for a special musical Time for All Ages.
Good morning, everybody. Whoever would like to can come forward, but this will really involve all of us, as it is a time for all ages, after all. So feel free to come forward if you'd like. How many of us are familiar with Mad Libs? Do any of us know what Mad Libs is? Fabulous. Like our favorite go-to vacation, summer vacation game when we were driving in our car, all four of us girls and my parents, for so many hours at a time. Mad Libs is where it was at. So if you're not familiar with Mad Libs, the premise is it's typically one sheet of paper and sort of a framework, if you will, of a story with many blanks that you get to fill in with whatever you'd like. Adjectives, verbs, nouns, what have you. And in the end, you get a story. Typically very funny, crazy story. And the best is when you go one sister to the next, you know, and maybe you cover up the other answers so you really have no context. That can be really fun too. But in the end, you get this sort of nice improvised story, right? You have a general framework, but it could really go any direction. And so we're gonna kind of take a tip from Mad Libs and we're gonna do our own improvisatory sound Mad Libs this morning. Okay, what are we gonna do?
All right, our framework has 3 layers to it. All right, our first layer is a rhythmic layer. So we need some kind of body percussion, some sort of beat to hold on to. So I would love a volunteer, maybe from one of our young people up front, or if we don't have any volunteers, one of our young people in the back, to give us 4 beats, just 1, 2, 3, 4, of some kind of rhythmic improvisatory thing. So it could sound like, or it could be like,
Right. We can snap, we can tap, we can clap.
Yep.
Anything goes. There aren't a lot of rules, right? Just something in time, in some sort of rhythm that we can.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any volunteers? This is do you want to try it? Okay, I kind of heard a combination of like stomp, 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 clap, clap, snap. Does that seem right? That's kind of what I was hearing. Can we all try that together? Stomp, 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 clap, clap, snap. Again, stomp, 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 clap, clap, snap. Yeah, stomp, stomp.
okay, don't forget it.
No, don't forget it.
Don't forget that. Bottom layer. Our mid layer is going to be 4 notes in the key of C. We were just in the lovely key of C for our improv. Everybody sing this note with me. Great. Okay. So the key of C, da 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 da, any of those notes. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Can someone give me 4 of those notes? And if you don't want to sing them, you could call out any of the letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I would accept that. Do, 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 do. Is that okay? Great.
Good.
Let's all sing that together. Ready, and do, 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 do. Now, who remembers our bass layer? Stomp, 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 clap, clap, snap. Stomp, 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 clap, clap, snap. Do, 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 do. Right? Yeah. Do, 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 do. Good. Beautiful. Now we need one more layer, some sort of top descanty thing that the UUs are famous for. I love Unitarian Universalist descants. It's my favorite thing in the world. So does someone have an idea for some kind of like, I don't know, yes. So we have a top layer, we have a mid layer, and we have a base layer, right? Let's build it from the bottom up. Let's start our rhythm again. And you don't have to do all three at the same time, right? If you need to pick one, if you're like, wow, Carla, I can only do just the rhythm. I love that. Let's start there. Here we go. Ready, and stomp, 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 clap, clap, snap. Stomp, 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 clap, clap, snap. Keep that going. And Rose is going to help us out with our mid layer. So join in if this feels good to you. Keep that going. And then our top layer sounds like. Okay, so you keep going, and we're gonna add on top of it to continue our time of all ages improvisatory moment.
Great job, everybody. I can't wait to hear more. And it's time, though, for the kids to come down if they would like. We'll join right over here. We'll sing them out with the children's benediction, which can be found in the back inside cover of your hymnal.
More and more, I feel extra grateful, humbled even, to the farmers market this summer. I try to go every week, sometimes with a grocery list in hand and sometimes not. Either way, I usually leave with a heavy tote bag. And what I found tends to happen is that I'll make meals that just use a portion of the produce I buy. This meal only needs 2/3 of the eggplant, that one only a handful of green onion. And while I've cut all the broccoli I need, its forest remains flush on the stalk. Plus, when you add in the very small harvests from my own vegetable garden, it can sometimes be a task to use all the half-eaten stuff before it goes bad on the counter or in the fridge. And while I love to share, this doesn't feel like the kind of food that one gives away. I'm fairly certain it would test the limits on the Buy Nothing Facebook group guidelines. And it feels disrespectful to offer a cup of spinach still glistening from the slimy leaves that I've already wiped off. Another idea could be to freeze things for later, but it's only 3 strips of yellow pepper, after all. No, instead, what I have found works best is leaving room during the week to make something that I have dubbed dump dinners. A dump dinner involves taking whatever ingredients are already cut or on the verge of spoiling, methodically dumping them into a pan, and seeing what happens. Like the scraps of produce, the seasonings and the pan types also vary depending on open containers in the fridge or in my cupboard and my mood. Mexican, Italian, Thai, or Mediterranean dump dinners are all favorite options in my home. And when I don't mind heating up the house, I'll whip up some dough and I'll make a dump pizza. The dinners are different every time, but satisfying in the sense that I created something with the intention to reduce waste and with some knowledge and intuition of cooking. Skills developed with family members, friends, watching cooking shows, or just simple trial and error. And while things generally come out tasty, there have absolutely been errors. But I've learned that that can be part of the fun. Honestly, that's the magic of the name, as if to say the pressure is off to make something perfect or expected. How bad can it really be? It's a dump dinner. There's a freeing sensation to this kind of meal preparation, my improv at the butcher block, if you will. And unlike the odd scrap or handful of ingredient, a dump dinner should be shared, I think. In fact, mine have recently started to hold a different type of significance, especially as food insecurity anxiety grows in our community, and the actual starvation of people in oppressed areas worldwide continues to overwhelm hearts and headlines. In this way, my silly dump dinner feels not only freeing, but like a small symbol of perseverance. And goodness, do I need to be reminded lately how both of those things still exist. Anyway, those are some reasons that I am extra grateful, humbled even, to the farmers market this summer.
Thank you. Each time we gather, we make time for joys and sorrows we are holding in our world, our church community, and our souls. We are grateful for the many volunteers offering care through cards and meals and phone calls and more. If you are in need of care, contact Reverend Luke. I invite you to take a deep breath, the breath of life. Feel the earth below you and its ancient turning. Above you, the sky, and beyond the stars with their ancient light. Holding you in this moment, yourself, made of earth and stars. I invite you into this time of meditation and prayer by first sharing silence together. Spirit of life and love, God and Gaia of 1,000 names and beyond all naming, in these tender and precarious days where values of inclusion, compassion, justice, and love feel under threat at almost every level. Help us be an embodiment of the love of our spiritual tradition, to love our neighbors with any act of kindness and compassion possible, simple care and checking in on each other, witnessing for justice and inclusion through letter writing and phone calls, protests and conversations and persistence. That keeps us connected to each other. To know that our well-being is interconnected and to draw on the strength of ancestors to help us guide in the daily choices we make for liberation, for freedom, for justice, for joy. We hold in our hearts all those who suffer in mind, body, or spirit. I invite you to bring the names of people and places you are holding in your heart, in joy or sorrow, and silently or aloud in this time to speak their names. For all the names, spoken and unspoken, that we may be held in love. The reading is from Rumi, entitled, Where Everything is Music. Don't worry about saving these songs, and if one of our instruments breaks, it doesn't matter. We have fallen into the place where everything is music. The strumming and the flute notes rise into the atmosphere, and even if the whole world's harp should burn up, there will still be instruments, hidden instruments playing. So the candle flickers and goes out, and we have a piece of flint and a spark. This singing art is sea foam, the graceful moments from a pearl, somewhere on the ocean floor. Poems reach up like spendthrift and the edge of driftwood along the beach wanting. They derive from a slow and powerful root that we can't see. Stop the words now. Open the window in the center of your chest and let the Spirit fly in and out. I invite you to stand as you're willing and able, and we will do hymn number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. This is kind of a choose your own journey. There's melody, descant, drone, or you can make up your own part, which I sometimes do, and Rose will help get us going.
A few readings on improvisation. Cooking is like painting or writing a song. Just as are only so many notes or colors, there are also only so many flavors. It's how you combine them that sets you apart. Wolfgang Puck.
Cooking requires confident guesswork and improvisation, experimentation and substitution, dealing with failure and uncertainty in a creative way. Paul Thoreau.
Sometimes you get so jazzed on the moment, you can actually hear the universe sing as you swing from life's high notes and hit the low notes equally, improvising artistically without missing a beat or hanging on like a leech, leaving each passing moment to zone in on the texture of the next melodic tones life continually brings. Curtis Tyrone Jones.
Mockingbirds are the true artists of the bird kingdom, which is to say, although they're born with a song of their own, an innate riff happens to be one of their most versatile of all ornithological expressions. Mockingbirds aren't content to merely play the hand that is dealt them. Like all artists, they are out to rearrange reality. Innovative, willful, daring, not bound by the rules to which others may blindly adhere, the mockingbird collects snatches of bird song from this tree and that field and appropriates them, places them in new and unexpected contexts, recreates the world from the world. For example, a mockingbird in South Carolina was heard to blend the songs of 32 different kinds of birds into a 10-minute performance. A virtuoso display that serves no practical purpose, falling therefore into the realm of pure art. Tom Robbins.
Learn the rules, and then break them in such a way as to exercise good taste. George Shearing.
I've always loved funky rustic quilts more than elegant and maybe lovelier ones. You see the beauty of homeliness and rough patches and how they defy expectations of order and comfort. They have at the same time enormous solemnity and exuberance. They may be made of rags, torn clothes that don't at all go together, but yet somehow they can be muscular and pretty. The colors are often strong with a lot of rhythm and discipline and a crazy sense of order. They're improvised, like jazz, where one thing leads to another without any idea of what exactly where the route will lead, except that will refer to something else maybe already established or about to be. Embedded in quilts and jazz are clues to escape and strength, sanctuary and warmth. The world is always going to be dangerous, and people are going to get badly banged up. But how can there be more meaning than helping one another stand up in a wind and stay warm? Anne Lamont.
Finding your ensemble is a crucial step to finding joy. When you help draw out and support other members of your ensemble, they are proud to lift you up in return. Support allows us to take risks. Raise everyone up. Let others help you. It is impossible to discover the full extent of yourself by yourself. Amy Lies Whiskey. Is that close?
Improvisation is your ability to be present in the now and to be responsive to those around you. Natalie Nixon.
Here's how I learned to improvise. I played some music in the studio, and I started to move. It sounds obvious, but I wonder how many people, whatever their medium, appreciate the gift of improvisation. It's your one opportunity in life to be completely free, with no responsibilities and no consequences. You don't have to be good or even interesting. It's you alone, with no one watching or judging. If anything comes of it, you decide whether the world gets to see it. In essence, you are giving permission to daydream during work hours. Twyla Tharp.
Style has a profound meaning to Black Americans. If we can't drive, we invent walks, and the world will envy the dexterity of our feet. If we can't have ham, we will boil chitterlings. If we are given rotten peaches, we will make cobblers. If given scraps, we make quilts. Take away our drums, and we will clap our hands and prove that human spirit will prevail. We will take what we have to make what we need. We need confidence in our knowledge of who we are. Nikki Giovanni.
I've been an improviser since I was in my 20s. There's really no failing in improv. You just go on to the next thing. Alan Alda.
One of the innate dilemmas of biography is that life is not much like a book. It rarely contains a stated thesis, coherently developed. Life sprawls, stumbles, advances, retreats, gropes for the light switch, and once in a while makes intuitive leaps whose import is barely understood until later, if ever, by the leaper. Life seems to me to be an improvisation. Jan Swafford. Olivia and Carla, thank you for being our mockingbirds today. That was gorgeous. Composer and writer Jan Swafford wrote, "Life seems to me to be an improvisation." He should know because he's written music and definitive biographies of Mozart, Brahms, and Beethoven. So that's my premise, that if we become better at improv, we'll be better at life. Now, in researching today, I encountered this article, The Tao of Improv, 5 Rules for Improvising Your Life, by Robert Taibbi, who is a licensed social worker. It's really excellent, probably better or at least more succinct than anything I will say today. And I can share the link, or you can read my copy. I'll make you a copy. And if you want the short version of my message, here's a synopsis of what the article said. The 5 rules to living your best life. Rule number 1, yes and. Rule number 2, act/react. Rule number 3, you can look good if you make others look good. Rule number 4, be truthful, be vulnerable. And rule number 5, there are no mistakes. There it is, right there. But being who I am, I'm going to give you my take. And I've got my watch here. Some of this is written out, some of it's off the top of my head, some of it's out of my heart. I relate to the mockingbird. They aren't content to merely play the hand that is dealt them. Like all artists, they are out to rearrange a reality. So here goes. Here's my take on the existential question of what is improvisation, who is good at it, how do we get better at it, and why should we engage in it? And yes, I'm often improvising now. I have 5 rules too, but I'm going to do them backwards. My rule number 5 is be aware of the power of cadence. If you don't know what a cadence is, it's like a rhythm, a movement, a closing, a harmony, a sense of closure. It may even be what you dreamed or imagined, but it should feel right. Now, we may sometimes dream things about like where we're going to go in our life. I know when I was in high school, I dreamed I was going to be a professional musician. I never dreamed that I would be up here today talking about improvisation. I never dreamed I would be leading a church choir. I didn't dream I would be a string teacher for 40 years in a small town. But I landed on those things because they felt right. It fit the cadence. It gave me closure. One thing I do as a teacher is I try to help kids find their cadence. I've been teaching 5th graders this week, and we're learning our first notes. The strings, hot cross buns. It's a struggle at first on a string instrument, right? It's a struggle to teach them sometimes too. But I don't want them to give up. So I always tell them, if you get lost, you go to the last note and you just keep playing it till we catch up with you. That's the power of cadence. Because the most important note that you play is the last note, and if you get the last note right, it doesn't really matter how you got there, at least in the beginning. If it's a meal, a quilt, a lesson, a composition, a speech, or whatever life act of creation you're doing, you want it to look, feel, smell, sound. What do you want it to taste like? Imagine it into being. As Rumi says, take down a musical instrument and let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Imagine what you want to create, but it's okay to get distracted and find a different arrival point than you imagined. Improvisation is a process, a journey, and there are gonna be detours. In the movie The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, Dev's character, Sunny, says, in India, we have a saying, everything will be all right at the end. So if it's not all right, it is not yet the end. That sums up, be aware of cadence. That leads us to rule number 4. There will be mistakes and opportunities. I'm not going to tell you there are no mistakes. They are more inevitable than death and taxes. They call it trial and error for a reason. We have an unhealthy relationship with failure. It's how we learn. It gave us Post-it notes. I mean, they're the best invention ever. One of my bass teachers, Richard Davis, who is a legendary bass player, and I was lucky to have him as a teacher even for a short time, always told me, when you hit a clunker, that's okay. Stick with it. That's how we find the cool notes. I hit a lot of clunkers. I'm not sure all of them were cool, but some of them might have been. Paul Thoreau said, cooking requires confident guesswork and improvisation, experimentation and substitution, dealing with failure and uncertainty in a creative way. Life demands that same mindset. So how do you respond when things are tough? I have 5 power words I use when I'm struggling in my classroom or musically. The first one is faith. I try to remind myself, I'm good at this. My students are going to be capable of learning. I'm going to be capable of teaching them. I can do this. I have faith in them. I have faith in myself. The next word is diligence. I like to think of this as, I'm a professional. I'm paid to be here. I'm paid to work the problem. I'm not just going to give up. I'm going to stick at it. And that brings me back to the third word, which is mindfulness. That I want to stay in that moment. I want to be with the people I'm in. I know that if I let my mind wander, I go somewhere else, or I'm thinking ahead, even if it's unpleasant, I have to stay in that moment. And then I get curious. I may want to say, that sounds terrible, but I know that's not going to get me anywhere. I have to get curious about, well, what about this is not comfortable for me or for them, or why is it not working? Ask myself questions, use my brain, and get curious and think about it. And if I do all those things, it leads to my 5th word, insight. I will solve something for that day or that moment or whatever. And I might not even realize it yet. It might happen later. But if you keep drilling those things, if you have faith, diligence, mindfulness, curiosity, you get insight in the end. So that leads us to rule number 3. Play to your strengths and use your tools. One of my favorite folk singers, Odetta, sang a song called Moving It On. It goes, any old way you can make it, baby, you keep on moving it on. Any old way you can make it, baby, you keep on moving it on. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. That echoes what Nikki Giovanni was saying so well. We will take what we have to make what we need. You all have superpowers. You all have tools. You all have different ways of improvising. What are those things? Think about it. What are those superpowers that you have? Maybe it's you are really good at dumping your food. Maybe you are really good at managing your schedule. Maybe you're really good at setting out an idea in the future to reach for. Maybe you're just one of those people that can work that list. What is your superpower? And you got to exercise those superpowers, because the most important superpower is practice. And I tell this to my students all the time. My daughter knows this, only practice on the days you breathe. But there's so many different ways to practice. But that's how you get good at what you do, is by using those tools and using them and not giving up, but practicing and going, I'm going to learn something for next time. Also, being compassionate and kind is a superpower, which leads to my rule number 2. Be a mensch. Merriam-Webster defines a mensch as a person of integrity or honor. I would describe a mensch as someone who cares more about those around themselves and is more concerned about helping out than looking good, which is how they end up looking in the end. When I think of mensches, I picture folks like the Dalai Lama, or Mother Teresa, or RGB, even Oprah. I don't tend to think of a lot of politicians. I think of maybe the bus driver. I think of the custodian. I think of that teacher. I think of some musicians, maybe not all of them. But finding those people aren't in it to try to make it for themselves. They're there to make it for other people. They know the proper place of humor. They know it's okay to laugh at yourself and with others, but not laugh and make fun of other people. A couple months ago, Reverend Ruth was talking about being an ensemble, because she's a musician, and how much better a band is when the people get along and like each other. When they're not, don't let their egos get in the way. So I think that's a really critical part of improvisation, is realizing you're just a part of this, part of that interdependent web of life, whatever it is you're doing. As Amy Laswowski, I can't say it either, says, finding your ensemble is a crucial step toward finding joy. When you help draw out and support other members of your ensemble, they are proud to lift you up in return. Support allows us to take risk. Raise up everyone. Let others help you. It is impossible to discover the full extent of yourself. Be present in the now and responsive to those around you, said Natalie Nixon. Now, Robert Taibbi and I agree about rule number 1. Enlist the power of yes and. And really, yes and, to be proper, the credit goes to Tina Fey. And I don't know if you know who Tina is, but she started out, I don't know where she started out. She started out in improv. She probably started as someone's daughter. Probably started as some kid in the classroom who would make things that the rest of the class thought was funny. Maybe even frustrated her teacher sometimes. I don't know. I know nothing about her. I would just have suspicions. So Tina writes, the first rule of improvisation is agree. Always agree and say yes when you're improvising. This means that you are required to agree with whatever your partner has created. So if we're improvising and I say, freeze, I have a gun, and you say, that's not a gun, it's your finger you're pointing at me, you're pointing your finger at me, our improvised scene has just ground to a halt. But if I say, freeze, I have a gun, and you say, hey, the gun I gave you for Christmas, you terrible person. Then we have started to create a scene because we have agreed that my finger is in fact the Christmas gun. In the gospel of improv, according to Tina, the second rule of improvisation is not only to say yes, but yes and. You are supposed to agree and then add something of your own. If I start a scene with, I can't believe it's so hot in here, and you just say, yeah, then we're kind of at a standstill. But if I say, I can't believe it's so hot in here, and you say, what did you expect? We're in hell. Now we're getting somewhere. To me, they are inseparable, the yes and the and. Libby describes this better than I could. There is a Zen-like state of mind to all this. Yes and yes and means that you work with what life offers you rather than fighting against it. You stay open and build on others' ideas rather than always dismissing, resisting, and jockeying for power. It's the counter to yes, but, or the no, the defensiveness, control, and anger that many of us play out in our own lives. He offers an experiment, just to try for a week saying yes to whatever your world offers and add to it. Don't deny reality, respond, twist, accept, or whatever comes moving ahead. Try this on your own week. See how it changes the dynamics of your relationship to the world. So when it's something terrible, do we have to say yes? Of course. Even when you don't agree, that's when the and comes into play. You use your improvisational tools and channel your inner Tim Gunn to make it work. So, when you enlist the power of yes and, you're going to be a mensch, you're going to play to your strengths, and you're going to use your tools. There will be mistakes and opportunities, and you're going to be aware of the power of cadence. Be a mockingbird this week. They exemplify the spirituality of improvisation. Like all artists, they are out to rearrange reality. Innovative, willful, daring, not bound by the rules to which others may blindly adhere, the mockingbird collects snatches of birdsong from this tree and that field, appropriates them and places them in new and unexpected contexts, and recreates the world from the world. I invite you to join us in hymn number 151, I Wish I Knew How. I invite you to put a hand to your heart, over your chest, or better yet, raise your arms to the sky. Stop words now. Open the window in the center of your chest and let the Spirit fly in and out. Have a good week.